All right, all right. What's up, y'all? We're live. Welcome to 9 to 5 Escape. Good to see you guys here this week. If you're here, say hello. Let us know what's going on for you this week. And let us know where you're watching from. We're in northern Colorado here today. Last week, when we were live, it was 0 degrees. Today, 55. Not bad, huh? So we had a nice little run outside today. Some of the snow is melting away, and we got a little taste of spring. It's definitely not here yet. But anyway, it's a nice day. So let us know if you guys are here. Say hello. Welcome, guys. If you all are new to the group, welcome to 9-5 Escape. We come in this group live every Monday at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern to share what's working for us as we have escaped or escape our 9 to 5s for online entrepreneurship. And if you're a regular here, welcome back, guys. You know that we're here every week sharing what's going on in the groups and what's working for us. So today, I'm really excited to share with you guys a little bit about momentum. We're going to be talking about why it's so important, how to get momentum, and why it may be one of the number one things that's really stopping you from growing your business effectively the way that you want to, especially online. So if you guys are here, say hello. Let us know that you're here, that you're watching with us. Let us know where you're at. And we're going to dive into this today here. Today, again, we're talking about momentum. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Joanne. And so I think this is such an important topic because it's something that I honestly I feel like gets overlooked quite a bit for some reason. And I was running today and I was kind of thinking about this whole momentum thing and how it was playing into my actual run, and just the momentum that you get when you're consistent with your exercises versus inconsistent. And what do we consider momentum when we feel like we have it? Because some people might consider momentum getting their workout in, once a week. Other people might consider momentum getting their workout every single day. And so where do we draw the line? What is serving us? What's not serving us? And how can we really tap into the momentum to let it drive our businesses forward and get us bigger results? So if you guys are ready for this, drop a momentum down below. We're going to jump into this here today. This is a really exciting topic because honestly, like I said, I do think it's overlooked, but not so much overlooked as maybe misunderstood or misused, especially when it comes to working online. Because, ultimately, when we have businesses focused in or building them through social media, there's a lot of different metrics that we're paying attention to that sometimes might feel like we're getting some traction, consistency, momentum, but may not necessarily be resulting in money in our pocket, right? So if we're tracking likes and comments on things that we're putting out there for our audience, but that's not actually translating into conversations and sales, then that's not the momentum that we're looking for, at least within this group. And that can be really tricky because, with the social media thing, it's like we gauge our results based on what people are saying about what we've put out there, but that's not necessarily always the best way to gauge your results, right? We need to make sure that there's a full circle here, that we're actually making the sale, right? So oftentimes, just a quick little example is to see people make a post that will create a lot of engagement on their page, but has nothing to do or is unrelated to the actual product or service that person offers. So you may have 100, comments on a post, but if those people are, interested in fishing because your post was about fishing, but you're selling, weight loss, then there's a disconnect there. And so we want to try to avoid that and not confuse that with momentum. So guys, hope that's landing for you as we jump in here. And what I really wanted to start with is kind of what stops momentum happening in the first place. Because for most of our clients, the momentum begins when they actually purchase our product, right? And more times than not, I see where we'll make a sale, at least in terms of product sale, someone will make a purchase, and then maybe the salesperson gets nervous to follow up, right? They're like, well, that person bought from me and I don't know what to do next. I'm gonna let them cruise and hopefully they have a good experience. How many of us have been kind of like, wasn't really sure if that person was gonna buy, and then they did, and we weren't sure how to follow up, and then we didn't follow up, right? That's where that momentum stops, not just for your business, but also for your client, because they've just started this journey. So how can we create momentum for them as they go through their journey as well? Right? It's not just about creating momentum in our own businesses, but how do we create momentum for our clients? And so a really cool, way that we do this with this group, and in particular with, let's say, for instance, a network marketing type of business, is you create something around this, so that what you're offering is a product, but also something more relevant, something that's going to give more results and create that momentum moving forward for your clients, so that it's not just a transaction and then done. And that momentum is so important for really creating retention in your business. So where does it stop? You got to think about this. If you look at overachievers, people that have been really, really successful, a lot of them will tell you that one of the common themes is that overachievers don't think about like what can go wrong in a process. They think about what will happen if I don't execute on this. What happens if I don't follow through? What happens if I don't follow up with that customer? And they're actually more afraid of what's going to happen if they don't versus what happens if they do. Right? I've been there before where it's like, man, what's going to happen if this works? What's going to happen if this person buys? What's going to happen if this person decides to do this or that or the other thing? Like, there's all these fears based in our possibility, and we have to get around that in order to be effective in building our businesses. And a couple of ways to do that is really stepping into leadership and stepping into certainty. And we're going to talk about that a little bit here. But if you guys are with me, just let me know that you guys are with me, you're following along, and this is making sense. So, what we want to really kind of ask ourselves is this, is in order to, before we can create momentum, are we in a position that we want to create momentum? So are you in a must situation, or are you in a desire situation? Like, are you in a situation where you have to do this, or in a situation where you want to do this? I think for the most part, most people are in a desire situation, which, if you're not up against the wall, then that action isn't going to come unless you put some emotion behind it, right? So how do we create that desire so that you don't want to be in a must situation normally, because that means you're really, pressured. But how do we create that desire? And that's what's actually going to push us. So think about it like this: is you think about two things: what makes me really mad, or what pisses me off, and what excites me, right? Because those two things, if you're not uncomfortable enough where you're at, or you're not as excited enough about where you're going, then you're stuck in the middle. And the middle is, it's not a place to be. You can't be stuck in the middle. You're not going anywhere. You're thinking, the thinking mode, right? I was really stuck in this thinking process for a long time. It's like, I know where I want to go. I know kind of what to do, but I just didn't have that certainty to actually take the action. And that's where most of us fall short. Let's be honest. It's that need for certainty. I don't know if it's just me. If you guys have a need for certainty, just drop a certainty in the comments. I want to know, because I really oftentimes in the past really felt this need to know what the outcome was going to be before I started on that process. And that really causes some serious inertia, which you don't want. So ask yourself, are you in a must situation or a desire situation? And if you're in that desire situation, figure out what's going to drive you forward so that you can start taking action. Now, the breakthroughs that we're going to get really comes from conditioning your mind over time. And that momentum comes from just like small, simple steps over and over and over every single day. They have to be meaningful steps, but the conditioning, right? How many times have you heard people say, entrepreneurship is the biggest life lesson you'll ever have, or the biggest self-improvement journey you'll ever be on? And I truly believe that. It's one of the reasons I love this so much, is because you always continually get to grow and learn as a person. How can I become the best version of myself? But that really starts with small and simple, consistent actions on purpose every day, right? We don't just fall into a life that we love and is perfect for us. We create those things. And if you see people around you that you feel like they've just kind of fell into it, or they were lucky, talk to them about it, because maybe that's not the case. It's really intention that gets us what we want in our lives. So really start to think about those consistencies, those actions on a regular basis that are like your ritual to really burning this into your brain, because ultimately we start to become what we think about on a regular basis. And that takes time. Now, all of this is going to start with a why, right? I don't know how many times I've said it probably in this group. I've why'd you to death, but the why is so important, because if we don't have a reason to do what we're doing, there's not going to be any desire to do it. And then we're not going to take any action. We're not going to get any results. So why do you actually want to be doing what you're doing? Why do you want to create momentum in your business? Why do you want to create momentum for your clients? What's that going to do for them? What are they going to achieve because of that, right? And so you really have to think of something that you're hungry for and that you're willing to go and just like tirelessly work for, while creating systems around that. And for me, that became this like never ending pull to show people the way out, because having been in corporate America and in a position or a job that wasn't fulfilling, it wasn't pulling me, it wasn't calling me to anything specific, there was no amazing sense of satisfaction behind that. My satisfaction comes from showing people that they don't have to live that way either. You can actually move out of that, choose that, right? And so it's got to be something that you're hungry for, you're willing to go every single day to really focus and push for. So if you don't have something like that, let's take a step back, because not everybody feels that hunger, especially, I'm thinking back when I was working in my corporate job. I mean, I didn't have this hunger or desire to go and do anything specific necessarily. I just knew I didn't want to be doing what I was doing. I kind of wanted to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Still kind of my thing. If you don't have something that you're really hungry for, then my suggestion is to get around people that are hungry, get around people that are excited for what they're doing, get around people that have a baseline that is higher than yours, and start to experience what that might look like. For me, when I came out of college, and my first career was in selling custom clothing to high net worth individuals in New York City. And I had told, I think I made a post about this not too long ago, about a $40,000 sale that I made in 15 minutes to a stranger. And this was an incredible experience for me, because I was able to learn that, when you coming out of college, these suits on average would start at around, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. The most expensive suit we have is $50,000. A shirt or something is going to generally be $200 or $300 up to $500. Pants are like $700. You get the idea. It's really, really expensive stuff. And so coming out of college, I went on my interview in like a $200 suit, maybe. And lucky, they obviously, suit you up, and you get to walk around this amazing, expensive clothing and feel like an absolute baller. But the experience for me was raising the bar of what I actually thought was even possible. Going to these people's offices, I mean, I'm talking like corner offices or just overlooking Park Avenue straight down the center, and what they were willing to spend on something that I didn't even really understand was so important at the time, really opened my eyes to putting yourself around people that have raised the bar for themselves. And it gave me this vision. It's like, why would I ever go back to wearing those other suits again? I'll do anything to wear custom clothing, because it just makes such an impact. It's so much, everything. It gives you that feel, but also, it's about raising the bar. Put yourself around the people that you want to sort of step into leadership, enrollment, urgency, and consistency and certainty, right? So sorry, that was a little bit of a tangent there, guys, but I love that. Was a really cool and exciting, job to have when you're coming out of college and you get to experience that. So moving on, guys, basically the point of that is you can really just simply change your standards by because you decide to, or by who you're surrounding yourself with. And that momentum really comes, from one step at a time. So here's what I want to talk about, or quickly do a little breakout here, is draw this out for you guys, because what's really this little quadrant that I'm going to share with you is kind of cool. And it's see if I can get everything in place. So I was talking before about being kind of stuck in the middle is the worst place to be, right? When it comes to being certain about something or anything else, really. But there's a point where you can be stuck in the middle of what we believe is potential for us, and that's where it's going to end for you. You're not going to get further than that if you don't move past that. So man, if I could just find how to make oh, there we go. So I'm going to draw 4 quadrants here. Try to at least something like that. And these are going to be broken down. So let's just put in here. So the first box is potential, right? So what we think about the potential of ourselves or of something that we're going to embark on is going to determine what happens in the rest of this quadrants, or in the rest of these quadrants, right? So whether we think we have a lot of potential in us to achieve something, whether we think we have a lot of potential to build our business to a certain income, whether we think we have, a lot of potential in a project that we're embarking on, or to be successful in a specific program, that's going to dictate what you do here, and that's actions, right? So if you don't think that there's very much potential for you to succeed in a particular business, then how much action are you going to take? Right? Probably not very much. But if you think there's a lot of potential to maybe think, man, I can make a killing if I just get this right, then how much action are you going to take? You're going to take a lot of action, right? And then that's going to lead you into the next quadrant, which is results. So if you think there's a lot of potential for you, you'll take a lot of action and your results are going to be positive. If you don't think that there's a lot of potential for you, you're probably not going to take any action or much action, and your results are going to reflect that. The problem is when it gets to the 4th quadrant, and that is affirmation. And what happens is no matter what the result is that we got, we affirm that result. And then we believe then again that that's our potential. And this is a cycle, right? It just goes around and around and around. And we need to be conscious of how we're thinking about this, because these systems are at play in multiple different parts of our bodies. Like our brains feed our bodies chemicals when we reaffirm that we're upset about something, and then our body reacts upset, and then we get more of that, and then it's a cycle, right? So breaking that chain is what's the most important. It starts with potential. Where is your baseline? Who do you think you are? What do you think you're capable of? And how much of that is actually based on what's happened to you in the past? Because those things can really, really hold us back. And you might not even really know or understand or realize that they are. But your perceived potential is going to lead you to the action that you take. That's going to lead you to the results that you get, and that's going to affirm whether or not you think that's true or not. And there's a point where you have to kind of say, like, I'm going to break the chain here and put a stop on it, and believe that there is potential for you, and to follow that cycle. It's not always just one time around that you're going to all of a sudden see those amazing results, but you have to test and retest and understand that that's really part of the process. So what I want to challenge you guys to do is to really think about what's possible for you. What if something came along for you that gave you that certainty, allowed you to step into certainty for yourself? What's possible for you when that happens? What's possible for you when you believe there's more potential and then you take more action? And if you're in a state of certainty, how is that going to affect the way that you approach people? Right? How many times have you been ready or willing or wanting to reach out to somebody for your business and you chickened out, or you backed off, or you said tomorrow instead? Those are when we're making withdrawals. We want to make deposits into our account every day. And in order to do that, we have to step into certainty. You don't have to be certain. I want to make that clear. You don't have to be certain in order to move forward. You have to just be okay with the uncertainty and understand that more clarity and certainty comes with the uncertainty. Take that first step and you'll get more clarity. Take that next step and you'll get more clarity. And by the end, you'll have the certainty that you needed, but you're going to have seen every piece that was important to get there. That's what we're always missing is without taking that first step, you can't get momentum. And if you need clarity in order to take that first step, then find it, because otherwise, what are we doing? We're stuck in the middle, you know? So, just kind of to close up on this a little bit, guys, really just challenging you to consider where you're at, what your beliefs are about your own potential, and what the baseline you've set for yourself is. We have this in business all the time, is if you set a baseline for yourself, that's generally where you're going to get to. But if you raise that bar, you're probably going to get a lot closer to that number the next month and the next year, just because you raised it, and your intention was there to get there. So a quick little story on how much of our mind is actually a part of this. How much does it actually affect our results? This was a question that was brought up to a basketball team, and I'm not going to get specific because honestly I don't know the specifics, but they were interested in evaluating why it is that when players get to the free throw line, they seem to oftentimes choke, or their, let's say, free throw percentages are much lower than they are in practice versus in a game with an audience and everything else. And they're wondering, is this something that's mental? And so what they did was they split the team and they made two teams of people, and they had one team go out and just practice free throws over and over and over again for hours and hours and hours. The other team, they had sit blindfolded and just imagine making free throws over and over and over and over again for hours. And then they evaluated the results, what happened, in actual play after this. And it was clearly obvious that the people that had just simply sat with a blindfold and thought about making free throws were consistently scoring much higher in their free throw percentages than those that just practiced actually making physical baskets over and over again. So when you question yourself and you say, I've tried everything possible, like physically possible, right? Think about where it's stopping you in your mind. What are the limitations that you're setting upon yourself just based on maybe what you've achieved up till now or what you've done in the past? And how can you raise that baseline and step into certainty around that so that you can get the results that you want? So guys, if this was valuable to you, just drop a value in the comments. I want to know that you guys are getting some value from these calls. And of course, we always want to know what's going to be important to you. So drop some suggestions as well if there's things that you want to work on in the future. So as we move on here, guys, you might have seen over the past week an announcement come into the group about a live beta program that I'm going to be doing for my full escape curriculum. And this is really an exciting program, and also opportunity for those of you who are seeking growth in your business. So if that's you, stay tuned here for another minute or two. But really what we wanted to do was create something that is going to build momentum through certainty. And so providing a path, sort of a step-by-step process that you can take so that those steps are going to lead you where you need to go, that giving you that certainty, but also providing you with the support and the backup that you need in order to put these things into play. That's what we created this around. So next week, we're going to be kicking off this beta program. We've got one spot left, guys, for this beta, and the deadline is tomorrow. It's Tuesday, the 23rd is the deadline to apply for this beta. So this will be a 12-week program, and it's going to be an intensive 12-week program where we create that momentum for you. It's built in. And we're going to get together live every other week for live group coaching. You're going to have a curriculum that you can walk through all of our lessons step by step so that you can really create a marketing piece for yourself, a full marketing funnel that's going to allow you to build a community around the products and services that you offer so that you can really create and scale something much larger than you may have imagined before. and really creating that success that you're looking for. So if that's something that you want to explore, guys, again, we have one spot left for the beta program. It is limited. This is a paid beta program, but it is being offered at a discount. So if there's something that you want to explore for your business, then drop an "I'm in" below. Just type "I'm in" below and I'll reach out to you. We'll get you on a phone call. We'll talk about it and see if it makes sense for your business, if it's the right fit for you, and if you're ready for that. And if so, we'll make that connection. We'll move forward. But this is going to be super exciting group. Everybody is riled up and ready to go, and we're going to get some amazing results here. So if you've got a 9 to 5 and you have a side gig that you've just been working on and you want to make all of those things click, finally 2021, the year to go digital, get it all online, in a clear and step-by-step process, drop an "I'm in" below. I'll reach out to you. We'll get on the phone and we'll see if that makes sense for you. Guys, I hope that you got some value out of today's call. Talking about momentum, it's really an important piece of what we do. Consistency, small steps, day after day is really what's going to create that momentum. Understand why you're here doing what you're doing. Be committed to that. Be driven to achieve the things that you say you want to achieve, and you will create that momentum for you. In your business and in your life. Let's be honest, it's not just all about business. This is about creating something that feels like it flows with you. I always talk about work-life integration. This is not about, having to sit on social media 24 hours a day. This is about creating something that feels good to you, an ecosystem that works for your life. So guys, hope that's that is all for you guys this week. As usual, we'll be back next Monday, 3 o'clock Pacific at 6 o'clock Eastern, to share what's working as we have escaped or are escaping our 9 to 5s for online entrepreneurship. If you guys want to see anything interesting in the coming weeks, just drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And we will catch you on the next one. Have a great week, everyone. Cheers.